This lesson is on counting methods. Our objective is to find all the possibilities of an event by drawing a tree diagram, by making a list, or by multiplying. Well, we're going to deal with this little chart right here on school pennants. And a pennant is a triangular flag that looks something like this, and you've probably seen them before, and maybe they'll say UNLV, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, or they might say Fresno State or UC Berkeley, but it's a school flag, usually in the shape of a triangle. It's not always a school flag, but in this case it obviously is because it says school. And they'll put them on a small pole like this, or they may hang the flag like this, and they have 3 rivet holes right here that you could run a string through and let the flag kind of hang down from the ceiling. You've probably seen that before as well. So that's what it's talking about with the design, with whether it has a pole or rivets. Well, there's a way of making a list that we say, okay, well, what are choices? Well, we have a choice of color. So I'm going to choose red. Once I choose red, I have 2 more choices. I can choose small or large, and I chose small. And then I have a choice in design. So I'm going to red, small, with a pole. There we go. So then I say, well, I have another choice for design, so I can keep with red and small and say, well, I'm going to choose rivets this time, and I write that down as a choice. So what you're doing is you're choosing all your possible options, saying, okay. All right, so we're done with red small because we don't have any other choices that you could have with red and small other than pole and rivets. So let's go with red large, and we can put that on a pole. And we still have another choice for red large, and that would be red large with rivets. Well, we've chosen all the options for red with small and all the options for red with large, but we can go back to our first choice with green. So we can go green, we can do with a small one with a pole. And we go through that same process. And when we're done, we'll find that we have 8 different options here that are listed. So we've made a list. Each line in the list has all the, it's a listing all the possible groupings that you could have and combinations that you could have. So there are 8 possibilities in this table when you make a list. The next step is to multiply, or the next technique would be to multiply. Well, we have 3 options, and so we have choice 1, choice 2, choice 3. So let's write those down. Choice 1, choice 2, choice 3. And choice 1 is a choice of color, choice 2 is a choice of size, choice 3 is a choice of design. Well, under those, how many choices do we have? Well, we have 1, 2 choices. And we have 1, 2 choices for these. We have 1, 2 choices for this. So that means 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 equals 8. So there are 8 possibilities if we multiply. And that makes sense because whether we're making a list or multiplying, we should have the same answer. The third way of doing this is by doing a tree diagram. A tree diagram, we start off with our first set of choices. We write them down. Now, one of the key techniques is to make sure you leave some space there so that they're far apart, because like the branches on a tree, it's going to get real big real fast. So we write down our first choice and our second choice, and we say, okay, well, with my first choice, I choose red, but now I have 2 choices, so I need 2 branches. All right, so I'm going to write 2 branches. And then if I chose green, though, I would still have 2 choices off that. So I need 2 branches off of green. So that's why I wrote these down with 2 branches off of each one. Once I make one of those choices, then I identify them that, okay, here's my choices. So now I've chosen, just kind of like when we made a list, red and small, and I have 2 choices, but instead of writing it down as a list, I'm going to show 2 branches off of red small, 2 branches off red. So each one of these depend on how many choices. If I have 3 choices here under design, I'm going to write down 3 branches, but because there's only 2 choices, it's 2 branches. And then I identify those. So the way to find out how many are in your tree diagram is you count the final column, the numbers in the final column. You wouldn't count all of these choices. You would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it makes sense. Our answer is 8, just like the other two methods. So when you make your tree diagram, give yourself some space so that you can work it, and then you count the final column of the tree diagram.